World Bank officials meet Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Governors and Finance Minister Kemi Adeosun over projects in Nigeria. International Monetary Fund (IMF) warns of rising debt profile despite faster economic growth. Forex market gets additional $210 million CBN boost. This is Business Express reaching you from our Abuja studio. I am Musa Abubakar. A World Bank mission comprising of 10 executive directors is expected in Nigeria this Wednesday to hold high-level discussions with the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, and Minister of Finance, Ms. Kemi Adeosun, and some governors over the bank's projects in the country. The delegation will discuss ongoing World Bank projects and the country's development priorities with the Vice President, Minister of Finance, and the governors. The official will also meet the organized private sector in Lagos as well as undertake a tour of Lapo Microfinance Project in Lagos and Azuro Power Plant in Edo State. The visit is expected to provide a first-hand impression of the challenges that both the federal and state governments face in implementing development projects as well as ensuring good governance overall. It will further enhance the goal of the bank for member countries and the effectiveness of the executive directors in providing the necessary support. The International Monetary Fund said on Tuesday that sub-Saharan African nations are at growing risk of debt distress because of heavy borrowing and gaping deficits, despite an overall uptick in economic growth. The sober assessment came as African countries continue to tap international debt markets and issue record levels of debt in foreign currencies, spurred on by insatiable investor demand for yields. IMF Africa Director Abebe Amro Selassie at the launch of its economic outlook for the region in Accra, however, said that the fund projects the rate of economic expansion will rise to 3.4% this year, up from 2.8% in 2017, boosted by global growth and higher commodity prices. Slower growth in South Africa and Nigeria, the continent's two largest economies, but IMF expects growth to pick up around two-thirds of African nations. Meanwhile, the IMF report said around 40% of low-income countries in the region are now in debt distress or at high risk of it, and refinancing that debt could soon become more costly. African governments issued a record $7.5 billion in sovereign bonds last year, 10 times more than in 2016. The report noted they have issued or plan to issue over $11 billion additional debt in the first half of 2018 alone. The IMF conceded that Africa's enormous needs will continue to demand heavy investment to build infrastructure and social development, but to do so while avoiding the risk of debt trap. The continent, which currently has the lowest revenue to GDP ratio in the world, will need to become more self-reliant. Nigeria is leading South Africa in net foreign reserves as it hit $47.37 billion to beat South Africa, which has $43.15 billion. Nigeria, which recently recovered from economic recession with less than $21 billion in foreign reserve, has built up its reserve massively over 1.5 years. The increase in the country's foreign reserve is reported to have stabilized its foreign exchange. South Africa's Reserve Bank said on Tuesday that reserves fell to $43.115 billion in April from $43.38 billion in March. The West African Securities Regulatory Authorities, WASRA, has agreed to converge existing rules of capital market regulatory agencies within the region in a bid to ensure that cross-border listing is carried out without little or no hindrances. This is to allow foreign companies carry out their businesses within the region and assist in deepening capital markets within the West African sub-region. Already, the body is rounding up work on guidelines on cross-border trading and settlement of securities. These were some of the high points of the meeting of the body on the sidelines of the 43rd conference meeting of the International Organization of Securities Commissions. Chairman of WASRA, Mr. Mori Saumahoro, who stated this, also said that on the planned establishment of a regional bond issuing framework for infrastructure financing, issuance will be done across borders, and confirmed that work has commenced on the modalities, including the rules that will guide the issuance. The Acting Director General, SEC Nigeria, Mrs. Mary Uduk, noted the imperative of cohesive collaboration between the relevant regulators, operators, and other stakeholders in West Africa, and the need to ensure that adequate resources are devoted. Is Nigeria on the trail of digital economy? What are the likely regulations and opportunities available for Nigeria and Nigerians? These are some of the questions to be answered in the course of discussions in this edition. But first, a background report by Leah Katumbabatunde.
The economy is an economy that is said to be based on digital computing technologies. The digital economy is also called the internet economy, the new economy, or the web economy. Presently, the digital economy is worth $3 trillion according to Wikipedia, and what is impressive is the fact that this entire value has been generated in the past 20 years since the launch of the internet. Every time a person or object connects to the digital world, they contribute to the explosive growth of a new shared global commons. It is widely accepted that the growth of the digital economy has widespread impact on the whole economy. Recently, Nigeria came up with the Smart Nigeria Digital Economy project with the objective to solve efficiency problems and create leapfrog opportunities in the economy, improve competitiveness, and foster technology development and innovation. Figures show that Nigeria is one of the leading IT markets in Africa, where there has been a rapid surge in the development of e-commerce businesses. The IMF and World Bank have identified digital economies in Africa as a priority. One of this year's flagship events at the annual spring meetings of the World Bank and IMF was on creating a digital economy for Africa, which brought together an impressive array of African entrepreneurs and investors. Discussions centered on how to help the continent leapfrog the traditional economic development path by building a formidable digital economy.
If we have tech hubs, they will do a lot more in helping us to galvanize this space.
So we need more disruption, not less. More disruption in every sector of the economy. Then we have the issue of what happens to the people. Because disruption typically means you might lose your job, or if you're lucky, you keep the job, but it changes quite fundamentally.
We all retreat increasingly to our in-groups, which is facilitated by digital technologies that make it possible to just self-select the folks that agree with us and the folks that look like us and sound like us. I think compassion can and should be taught.
Business experts will be taking the conversation further to reveal opportunities and prospects for Nigeria in the digital world.
Joining me is Alex Alija of Blockchain Tech Hub. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Businesses have moved into the virtual space. Can you give us an impression of what that actually means?
Well, technically right now, businesses moving into digital space simply means that businesses are no longer what they used to be. It's no longer traditional. Businesses are being disrupted by the technology, and one of the actual leading technologies right now is blockchain technology. Of course, the world is agog with it. Everybody is craving for it. So the simple implication right now is that businesses are changing faces. What business means, what transactions means, is no longer what it used to be. It's no longer traditional. It is taking a leap further.
Okay, day jobs, are they gradually being replaced by the internet?
I wouldn't actually say they are completely being replaced. I would say that they are switching roles in the sense that there are things that you still need human capacity to do other than the internet. So I think they are switching roles. Businesses will not be completely erased by this digital economy.
Okay.
All they will do is that they'll add some modifications and a little changes.
Can you give us more insight into this blockchain?
Well, blockchain technology is a technology that makes everything put into it to be distributed, to be decentralized and prone to hacking. Hacking in the sense that nobody can get access into the documents or the data until every person, every party in that network agrees to it, in the sense that one single person cannot just control the whole thing. Everybody needs to see what is happening and everybody needs to know what is happening.
Okay, what are the opportunities for Nigeria?
The opportunities for Nigeria are endless. Like currently right now, Kenya is one of the top lists in Africa, one of the top list African countries that are actually embracing blockchain technology with the whole of their hearts. And the country launched what's it called, M-Pesa, which is an ability to transfer money, and it's doing it. So for Nigeria, the opportunities it's going to bring to Nigeria is going to bring let's say a more decentralized system of economy, a unified data, in the sense that everything, we can see what is happening. We can see what is going on in the economy and how nobody can just come out to call figures. Everybody gets to see it for ourselves.
Okay, when talking about digital economy, are we actually or only talking about blockchain?
No.
What about things like cashless transactions?
Of course. Like basically, I think the reason why I am majoring more on blockchain technology, because I feel it is a pioneer technology. It's the potential it can bring to any economy is endless. But there are also other digital economy possibilities, like the cashless economy you talked about. So blockchain technology itself is the major key player in digital economy.
Okay, how can Africa take advantage of this digital economy?
Well, Africans can take advantage of it by, first of all, embracing it. I know currently right now one of the problems that we are faced in the blockchain space is regulation, which some other governments and key bodies are actually working to make sure it's regulated properly. But if Africa can embrace it, the possibilities are endless. I think, for me, I strongly believe that blockchain technology was invented to even, flip the chart for Africa.
Okay. Well, how can Nigeria take advantage of it, considering the government moves to diversify the economy?
It's still going to make the diversification movement more better and more precise. If Nigeria should adopt blockchain technology, number one is that it's going to create more. Currently, right now, I think Nigeria is one of the biggest countries in Africa that are into cryptocurrency and blockchain movement. They have a lot of blockchain startups. They have a lot of blockchain businesses that are coming up. So this will help Nigeria, help the younger generation of Nigeria to even get themselves gainfully employed, get something to do for themselves as entrepreneurs. So it's going to affect the economy positively in terms of diversification.
Okay, what about the issue of auditing tax and regulatory instruments. Can government still do that with the digital economy?
Of course. As a matter of fact, one of the key features of blockchain technology and digital assetting is that everybody gets to see. It's transparent. Everybody can see what's going on. It's not just you coming out to core figures. We all can see. Currently, I think it was a month ago or thereabout, an election was cancelled in Kenya because there were some compromises in the distance. There's also a possibility to vote, a voting system through the blockchain, in the sense that everybody gets to see it. It's decentralized. There's no calling out figures. Everybody is seeing what is happening.
Okay, what about the infrastructure? Do we have the infrastructure to really have a sustainable and effective digital economy?
Basically, right now, I think one of the things I think that we Nigerians, we Africans should do is to, go for more knowledge, go for more exposure, go for more education. Like personally, currently, myself, I'm undergoing a training right now in what's it called, in the University of Cyprus. I'm trying to study about digital economy and digital currency. So we are going for more knowledge, and each of this knowledge we get, we bring it back to our own, to Africa here, to be able to, provide solutions to some of our problems.
Okay. With the kind of mindset we have, like when you consider the cashless policy that was in the past, government tried to introduce it,
okay.
And to an extent, it does not really go down well with people. How do we get to change people's mind towards, embracing digital economy?
I think effective sensitization will do a lot. Currently, I think 1.5% population of Nigerians don't have access to internet, and that's a problem. So I think currently sensitization will do a lot, where the government themselves, currently the Nigerian government is currently biased about it. They are not saying go ahead. They are saying be careful and be cautious on what you do. So if the government could adopt this, like Kenya just set up a regulatory body, a 11-man task force committee to look into blockchain and cryptocurrency in Kenya. And after their finding, I think they are going to start some key infrastructural development. So if Nigeria could also borrow a leaf from Kenya and adopt it and start the sensitization, it's going to do a whole lot, believe me.
Okay, is the level of education available in Nigeria for digital economy?
The level of currently right now, it is not. But one of the things the internet has been able to do for us is that you can stay in your parlor and you learn anything you want to learn from those. So, personally, some of the experiences I've had on, blockchain technology and cryptocurrency, I went to training. Like there was a recent, World Blockchain Summit that held in Dubai. Some of these people, we go for them and we attend and we learn and we bring back this knowledge. So if Nigeria, if we say, if we are going to go with this, that means the government needs to adopt, needs to call for this knowledge, partner with some other big organization to bring this knowledge and make it available here in Africa.
Then should we get more tech hub in Nigeria?
Definitely. I think for me, this is the age of technology, and the younger generations are really tech savvy. Everybody is excited about it. So I think we should get more tech hubs in Nigeria, because it will give everybody, this access to want to learn and solve problems.
Okay, we've been talking to Mr. Alex Alija. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
And moving on, oil futures rebounded early Wednesday, hitting levels near the 3.5-year high after bullish data on U.S. oil inventories and in the wake of the U.S. pulling out of the Iran nuclear deal. Crude prices have swung widely in recent days as investors anticipated Trump's decision on whether to withdraw from the Iran deal. Oil futures started sliding in the U.S. late Monday and fell as much as 4% in morning trade Tuesday before Trump announced his decision to abandon it. Crude clawed back some of its decline after Trump's speech to settle about 2% lower. Next is a graphic representation of commodities as compiled by Bosede Abel. Sell pressure has continued to affect the Nigerian stock market, compressing returns since the start of this week. Amina Nujem brings us up to speed on trading outcomes so far recorded.
The equities market closed the first day of trading depreciating by 0.11% to close at 41,172.82 basis points, while market capitalization closed at 14 trillion naira. Its year-to-date return stood at 7.66%. 221 million shares exchanged hands among investors in 5,629 deals, valued at 2.566 billion naira. The equities market saw the second day of trading recording marginal loss of 0.04% to close at 41,155.80 basis point, while market capitalization stood at 14.907 trillion naira. 563 million shares exchanged hands among investors in 4,217 deals, valued at 5.768 billion naira. The financial institutions were the most traded stocks, namely FCMB Group PLC, Guaranty Trust Bank and Zenith Bank were the most traded stocks. Curtix, Livestock and Cement Company of Northern Nigeria PLC topped the gainers chart, while Fort Oil and C&I Leasing led the losers table.
And away from home, global stocks see mixed sentiments. Muplan Dakok has an outlook of global stock markets.
South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40 lost 0.29%. Kenya's Nairobi All-Share Index depreciated 0.28%. Tune Index gained 0.38% and went up to 7,170.61. Namibia Overall Index and Ghana Composite Index lost 0.41% and 0.17% in early trading. United States stocks began trading in mixed sentiments as the threat of an increase in geopolitical tension in the Middle East is weighing on global sentiment. Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.01%, while S&P 500 lost 0.03% as at 11 a.m. Nasdaq Composite Index increased 0.02% at 7,266.90. European stocks were mostly negative. UK's FTSE 100 index went down 0.02%. Germany's DAX index lost 0.28%, and CAC 40 index in the same vein was negative at minus 0.17%. Most Asian indices depreciated in early trading as Malaysia holds general election Wednesday. Nikkei 225 was red at 0.42%. Shanghai dipped 0.04%, while Hang Seng Index gained 0.40%.
And now the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, on Tuesday boosted the interbank foreign exchange market with another sum of $210 million. The bank again offered the sum of $100 million to authorized dealers in the wholesale segment of the market. The small and medium-scale enterprises segment received the sum of $55 million, while the sum of $55 million was apportioned to invisible, such as tuition fees, medical payments, and basic travel allowance. A statement from the bank acting director, Corporate Communications Department, Mr. Isaac Okorafor, confirmed the figures and reiterates CBN's capacity to continue to sustain the foreign exchange intervention. Let's see how currencies are trading midweek. That's it on Wednesday's edition of Business Express. The program returns Friday. I am Musa Abubakar.